So thank you for hitting the about me or my story button. I want to just tell you briefly who I am, a little bit more in depth than I did potentially on the homepage. So I grew up in Denver, Colorado. Now, before I was born back in the 1960s, my mother and my father were married. They had two boys, a 5 and a 6-year-old. And because my dad was not able to make money, what happened was he sent them to live in Kansas with my mom's parents. And on a hot summer day, those two little boys were out in the backyard playing, and they did what a lot of little boys do, and they went jumping the fence, sneaking around the neighborhood, and they found a swimming pool. And they began to jump in and take turns jumping in. And the unfortunate part is the older one, Lanny, jumped out too far. He couldn't get back to the edge. His brother, Jeff, who was only 5 years old, started screaming for help, but nobody was there. He tried to reach him, but he couldn't. He didn't know how to swim either. So he ran back and got somebody at home. By the time they got there, Lanny had drowned. So I'm sure you'll imagine what that would feel like if you're a parent. Children should not die before parents in the scheme of things. So not only was my mother broken, but by the time the news hit my father, who was in Denver, he was angry. He blamed God. He blamed his wife, my mom, and he even blamed his last son, Jeff, at 5 years old. The truth is, I think my dad had so much blame inside of himself because he was not able as a man to produce the income to keep the family together. That blame just blew up inside of him. So he took it out and he externalized it. And somewhere in this, they began to drink. My mom and dad began to drink a lot. And they decided to have another child. And about a year and a half later, a baby boy was born, blonde hair and blue eyes, and they named him Vincent. I came into the picture when this whole family was devastated. Nobody wanted to get close to me because they know the pain of getting close and how you could lose somebody. All I remember is growing up every single night, my dad was drunk and screaming and holding my mom against walls and crazy things like that. It was a very dysfunctional dynamic. I didn't sleep much in my house. I tried to go to school, but I ended up flunking kindergarten. I thought it's because I was special ed. That's what they told me in school. I was special ed. I've learned since that it's pretty much that I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I didn't have proper nutrition or environment. And once you have a child that cannot sleep, their IQ drops drastically. Fortunately for me, I've worked hard at getting my IQ back. I think I was actually brilliant enough, but I'm not the sharpest tack in the box. But here's the thing that happened. I saw my mom after, and by the way, at 4 years old, my dad pulled a gun, was going to shoot my mom, myself, and my brother. My mom screamed and ended up having us go out to sleep in a field that night. The next day, she divorced him, and he ended up leaving with no money. We were left with no money. We had the house and the car, but no money. And my mom had never worked. She went out and started to clean houses, and she did everything she could to make money to cover herself and her two boys. She was always in stress. So I said, someday, Mom, I'm going to be rich. I don't think she believed me after flunking kindergarten and struggling in school. But I went after it. I went after it with total drive to go make a lot of money, and I did in the stock market, and stock market first, and then speaking. I became a speaker teaching real estate and stock market, both of them. And I made a lot of money, but I wasn't happier. I had more choices. I got to see the world. I got to impact a lot of people's lives, but still internally, there was a struggle going on inside of me. Now, when I was younger, I turned to Christianity at 12 years old because nobody loved me, I felt. So I was born again, and I was obsessive about Christianity. And it served me for the time, but at 28, I was miserable. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel cared about. And one of the reasons is because I'm a gay man, and I could not let that out. My dad, my family, people around me did not like the gays. Basically, they said they're going to hell in the church that I was going to. I hated myself. And at 28, I finally broke and said, I'm done with this religion. I'm done with it all. And I cried out to whoever, God, divine energy, whatever you are. But if you're true, I'm going to ask you to show me the truth, and I'm not going to believe anything anymore unless it comes to me and fills my heart. And that started me on a journey that changed my life, diving into things like Course in Miracles, studying sacred geometry, reading books and seminars and going to trainings and praying and sitting and meditating and learning yoga and yoga nidra and yoga therapy and deep, deep work. And there's a lot to this story. I have a tremendous amount of journeys I've been on this story. But the whole thing is, it started to wake me up. It started to make me realize that I was born on purpose for a purpose, that I was put here to realize who I really am, that I am not this body. I am not the roles that I play. I am not my status or my wealth or lack thereof. I'm not the left or the right of politics. I'm not male or female. I am simply being, just like you are. I am is simple being, before we add all the adjectives to it and take the infinite and make it finite with our thinking mind. And I started to learn that my negative patterns, my traits, my fear, my self-image, all the darkness within me was because I allowed myself to continue down that road of thinking. And I allowed the external forces to control my internal voice and dialogue. So I began to sit with myself. And that was thanks to a guru, thanks to many gurus. In fact, today I believe all in the universe is our guru teaching us something. And so it led me down this path where I started to realize if I go inside, all the abundance I seek is not out there, it's inside of me. The relationship that I really want with my partner is not really with my partner, it's with me. And once I have that healthy relationship in me, by operating in alignment, then that works for my partner, who then the right partner always magnetizes at the same frequency. The wealth comes because I open myself up to the present moment, knowing that Source puts into my environment the right people, the right circumstances, the right places. Also understanding my health comes from within me. It first has to be cleaned up inside my body, what I put into my body, the news, the information, the types of people I hang around, the food, the water. Am I watching it, cleaning up this environment so that I can radiate and elevate at a higher level? So it is a process of sorting, sifting, and separating all the crap from the gold. We got to burn through that chaff, that dirt, that unworked parts of us until we reignite our flame and bring light back to those broken pieces of ourselves, the fragmented parts that we call the shadow, the parts that we broke off a long time ago and said, I'm not good because I'm gay. I'm not good because I flunked kindergarten. I'm not good because I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. My skin's not right. My hair's not right. My family is embarrassing. They're not right. All these things we fragmented, we broke them off. And until we bring those back home and love them, and put the light back on them to realize that there's only one. There is no duality in reality. Duality is the mind's creation through thought. Once we stop thinking, and we can do this by separating ourselves from our thoughts, then we will experience who we really are, our true nature. It's part of what I teach. So anyway, I wanted to share it with you. I have so much more I'd like to share, but it's not so much about me. It's really about you. And I'm hoping that I can use my life's experience, my journeys, my rise and fall of making and losing money, being sick, having negative attitudes and mental, all kinds of issues, right? And learning how to heal from the inside out. I'm hoping I can catalyze the change for you. And that's why I put this site together. There's many things out there calling me to go make a lot of money. And when I was looking at this, what is my purpose? I kept being drawn back to coaching in a level where I can help people to heal, to restore, to awaken, to elevate their lives and live authentically. Yeah, money's nice, but money doesn't solve the problems. I met so many very wealthy people who have everything you think you want, and they're miserable. Their kids are miserable. Their spouses are miserable. They treat people poorly. There's a lot of those because they spent their whole time thinking the answer was outside of them. If they just have more status or more money or more sex or more whatever, they're going to be okay, and they're not. You will never, ever, ever be okay by having more external stuff. You will only be okay when you realize you've always been okay. The mind is a veil that covers the true essence of who you are. And I hope that you will understand this at the deepest core level of who you are. My name's Vincent. I look forward to meeting you, to working with you. And either way, even if we never work together, remember one thing. Everything you've desired in your entire life is not outside of you. It is you. The only thing holding you back is your thinking. There is no problem in the world other than your thinking that makes it so. Be blessed and know that everything will be fine in time. Even though there's challenges, in time, it will all work out because we're all on our way home. Much love.